Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're here to talk about the truth about bigs in NBA 2K21. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. Let's try this video 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours. Pretty much what we're here to talk about today is the domino effect of each big man build and how it will affect all the other big man builds as well. And the main thing that we're here to talk about today is height. How really being anything over 6'10 feels like it's going to be really bad this year, and we're here to talk about all that. And I'm just going to explain to you guys why big men are no longer big men. All right, I'm gonna just put it like that. Now, that does depend on one extremely important thing. So first and foremost, the thing that I made for my build is going to be this pure red, right? And I decided to make it 6'7" and play point guard with it and have it run as the big man and set screens with it. Likely guard bigs, but possibly guard point guards. I play the stage a whole lot more, so interior defense isn't quite as important to me as it is for most of you other bigs who are probably watching this video. But anyway, say you go with this pure red, the speed and vert. So fast forward to this right here with all the attributes filled out. This is the main reason why I feel like centers, as far as being a big man, are just not too beneficial. So you don't get anything for the playmaking badges. I'm talking I max out ball handling, post moves, and pass accuracy. At the point guard spot, all I have to do is touch ball handling and pass accuracy. I get 9 playmaking badges. And really, this pure red almost feels worthless at center. I mean, you do get the 30 defensive badges, yes, and you get your finishing badges, but for what cost? I mean, you don't have any shooting badges at all, even if you tried to with all these extra ratings right here. And then you really don't get any playmaking badges even for maxing everything out. I couldn't even max out the perimeter D while doing that. But what I'm here to talk about is especially the height. So you go to 6'9", you're looking at 72 speed, 84 vert with the gym rat stuff with the +4s, and then the +4s from being a 99 overall, possibly +5 for being 99.9. Y'all get the deal. And then for every inch of height you go up from 6'9" feels that much more worthless. So you go to 6'10", your driving dunk gets absolutely destroyed. Perimeter defense and lateral quickness both go down by a lot. Speed is only going down by 3, but acceleration is going down by 5. The vertical doesn't get hit too bad, but still, I mean, for every height that you go up, it's just that much worse. Driving dunk, again, just gets absolutely killed. Your speed in the pick and roll game, your range of grabbing rebounds, I'm talking in the pick and rolls, you're not going to be able to get to the hoop fast enough and secure the box outs because of how slow you are. And I felt like this last year. I had a 6'9" red and blue pie chart, and I played big man with it, and I loved it. But even when I would play people who are 6'8" and 6'7" and lined up at the big man spot, it would annoy the mess out of me because they have so much more speed, so much more range for the rebounds, so much more ability to play the backside defense and not give up easy rolls, switch on to my ball handler and play sides on everything. Long story short is, being big doesn't matter. However, we're here to talk about this as well. So with the meta of bigs likely going to these undersized bigs, where it's around 6'7" to 6'9", you have much more mobility in the pick and roll game. This is where I feel like the meta is also going to shift for the 2v2, because as soon as these guys who like to do the post scoring see that the meta for bigs is going to be around 6'8", I promise y'all it's going to be builds like this, where pretty much now that quick draw is no longer in the game, you don't need shooting badges to be an effective post scorer, especially with the hooks and stuff like that too. You can still have the versatility to your game of the driving dunk. I'm not sure what height I would recommend to make for this build, and you're going to see I just kind of anticipated this is going to be around 7'3" to 7'2", something like that, where perimeter defense, steal, who really cares? I mean, this build is pretty much meant to be gigantic and just post hook everybody, right? And this is going to be the problem is when the undersized big becomes meta, when you're lined up on builds like this, it's just going to be awful and super annoying because you don't have the height, you don't have the interior defense to compete with these builds, and on twos, it's just going to completely destroy you. Now, this is where I'm also here to tell you guys, I don't think this is the biggest deal for you to deal with if you like to play threes, because a build like this is never going to be effective on threes. You're going to be way too slow in the full court offense. Obviously, the speed vertical is awful. I mean, yeah, you're going to be able to set screens with this, but it's going to be really easy to hedge, especially if you're an undersized big, where you're going to be able to defend really both players at the same time because this dude's just going to be so freaking slow. But anyway, my whole point is, if you're going to get post hooked, you know, standing layup on, dunked on, whatever it may be on the threes, it's not going to matter all that much because mobility and perimeter defense and three-pointers just straight up rule on 3v3. Now, this is where I'm telling you guys, you are going to struggle to defend builds like this if you go with a 6'7" to 6'9" big. It's just flat out going to be like that, especially if pogo stick has been nerfed, and that's things that we don't know yet. Now, also, another thing that I want to talk about, and we'll make another cut, is how builds like this right here, which is the one that I plan to make, while it's going to be absolutely insane as far as the perimeter defense, the switch ability, being able to guard ball, being able to guard bigs, and like I said, it's still going to be a solid rebounder. The one thing that it's going to struggle with is interior defending, where it's just standing layups, post hooks by taller players. But like I said, on threes, which I plan to play a whole lot of, where it's stage comp threes, where it's, you know, Point guards looking for three-pointers. You don't really even have to be that good at dunking. You just dunk wide open as the big man, or if you have the rim sharp pick and pop ability to you, that's another thing. And we'll talk about the rim sharps in just a second here. But anyway, this is the build I plan to make. However, while I go 6'7" and I plan to go minimum weight for the speed, but that's going to depend a whole lot on whether or not strength is super important for screen setting, because one thing I don't really care about is strength when it comes to getting back down. As far as like the box outs, I'm not worried about the box outs. I'm a good rebounder myself. The more range you have, like I said, people be sleeping on what speed and vertical do for you in the rebounding, because flat out, they just don't really know how this stuff works. I personally, and I don't mean to boast and brag or, you know, sound like I have an ego or something like that, but I know I'm a great rebounder when it comes to this 2K stuff. I've been doing this for 4 years, maybe even 5 now, but I've been doing this for a long time. I know what speed brings to the table, and I know that it helps a ton when you're running pick and roll and you're setting screens. But this is going to be very dependent on if strength matters for the screen setting. Last year, I feel like it didn't matter too much, where if you could still have Hall of Fame brick wall, which you will still be able to do in this game as well, but you're going to go max on this wingspan. This looks like an absolute nightmare build as a big man spot. You're still going to have the 70 ball control. The driving dunk and the standing dunk are ridiculously good. And then, I mean, look at the defense, bro. The defense is out of this world when it comes to, like, stage 3's perspective. But for the casuals who probably aren't going to be playing too much stage, I would say the 6'8" is probably your better way to go, because you're going to have a whole lot better block, rebounding, etc. You give up a little bit more of the perimeter defense, but three-pointers don't exactly rule as much as they do in the park as they do the stage. But anyway, y'all get the deal. So my problem with this is, even if you go max on the weight, you're still only going to have 62 strength, which, if we're being technical, you're going to have around 70 with the gym rat boost and the 99 boost and whatnot. But when you go back max on the wingspan, you're going to struggle even more. But anyway, y'all get the deal. So what I'm here to talk about, and we're just going to bring this full circle as to what this point that I'm trying to make is that these builds will be absolutely amazing when it comes to threes, and especially stage 3s, or just flat out running pick and roll and defending pick and roll. But when it comes to guarding post scores or anything like that, or defending slashers, when it comes to the 6'7" pure locks, or even like a play lock or something like that, or the rim sharp, which, like I said, we'll get to in just a second, you're definitely going to struggle when it comes to interior defense. So it's just a give or take thing. I can't tell y'all what's going to be the meta so far, but I can promise you on 2v2, post scores will dominate, because of how really it just feels like to run proper pick and roll. You gotta just go short as far as the height goes for, you know, just better speed, better mobility. The pick and pop bigs, you're going to want the speed as well. I just feel like it's going to be a very extreme thing this year. You're either going to be really fast or you're going to be really strong. And whether your pro and con outweighs the other one is to be determined. Alright, so now you got your builds like the rim sharp. So there's this one right here, which is the mostly defense pie chart with a little bit of shooting in it. And then you have the actual rim sharp build right here. I think this one is going to rule. I think this is a whole lot better than the new pie chart. And I think a lot of people are going to get baited into this one right here, even though it's in reality not quite as good. You're going to see a couple like physical attributes and like a couple defensive attributes being better. And some people get reeled in by that. But I think flat out to give up Hall of Fame shooting badges is just ridiculous. Now, I want to talk about this too. I do think outside bigs will still be good this year. Flat out, there's no reason that, you know, Hall of Fame shooting badges would ever, like, there's no reason you won't be able to shoot well with Hall of Fame shooting badges. That's how I see it. And, you know, as much as I do want to see outsides go away from being the meta, I think they're still going to be pretty dominant when it comes to the 3v3 stuff, and possibly the 2s as well. I would say probably the 2s. But anyway, to talk about the rim sharp a little bit, I feel like the one struggle you're going to have is deciding on this physical pie chart, because like I said, you're either going to give up speed, vertical, or strength. It's hard to have all three this year. It's really, really tough. So flat out, I feel like a lot of rim sharps, they're going to go with this pie chart right here where it's speed and strength. They be sleeping on the vertical, so we'll just go ahead and just pick this one. I really don't know which one I would pick myself, but fast forward, you're likely going to have your basic rim sharps like this, where pretty much to touch anything on the shooting badges after this, it just hurts too much. You got to max out everything shooting. And then for the defense, same goes here. I mean, if you touch anything on offensive rebound, it's just going to struggle. So I feel like pretty much you're going to be stuck with the 2 finishing badges. You don't want to touch anything on playmaking, really, because then you're just not going to be able to dunk. And I don't know, to be non-functional when it comes to the pick and roll offense, as far as like rolling off of screens and just force yourself to pop every time, I feel like it's probably not going to be too effective. So let's just talk about the 6'9" rim sharp. I mean, you're looking at the strength on this. It's around 75. Probably if you are somebody who believes that strength is going to impact screens, which it likely might, but I am going to bank on the fact that it doesn't. Obviously, I'm not going to finalize my player until I find out whether or not it does, but say you do believe strength is going to impact screen setting, then at this point you're going to have 92. You're probably going to want to go max wingspan, however, with this build, because you can see, I mean, it's just impacted so much when it comes to rebounding, blocks, stuff like that. Obviously, as a big man, you're just going to want to have long wingspan. And then same with the standing dunk too. I mean, if you're somebody who usually goes minimum wingspan on these rim sharps because you're like, who needs rebounding, who needs defense, even though you made your build part defense, which would make no sense. But anyway, if you're somebody who usually goes minimum wingspan on this stuff, I don't think you're going to be a fan of it this year. It just flat out is not going to work. So you're going to go max wingspan-ish or something like that on the rim sharps. And really, it doesn't look too bad. You got solid standing dunk, 70 driving dunk, solid close shot. It all comes down to, can you shoot with the 67 three-pointer, which I believe you probably will be able to. It's going to be around 70 when you hit 99. And then, I mean, let's just be real. You got Hall of Fame shooting badges everywhere. Like, you're going to have 19 shooting badges, I believe. Yeah, 19 shooting badges with Hall of Fames equipped. Now, this is where I feel like a lot of people are going to get baited into that mostly defense chart, right? And they're going to probably struggle to shoot more because I feel like those Hall of Fame badges are going to be flat out what carries you. Like, I'm talking range extender. You got Hot Zone Hunter if that's back. Catch and shoot if it's more effective than just past like bronze or silver this year, which I would bet that it will be. But anyway, my whole point is that rim sharps will be good. Inside bigs that are undersized will be good. However, with all of this said, the undersized big meta is going to be affected on the twos court because I feel like on the twos, when these post scores see that the meta is going to be the undersized big, they're flat out going to destroy anybody who comes in there with that at the two. So what I want to tell y'all real quick before we end the video, the thing that I really like about my build right here, so we're back to the 6'7" point guard, pure lock, point big man, pretty much, or point center, if you will, as my video from a couple days ago talked about. I love the versatility on this. You got crazy driving dunk. The ball handling will be above 70 at 99 overall. And then the defense is out of this world, like I was saying. The thing that I'm thinking about for twos, however, where I was saying this build is obviously going to get dominated by post scores. I got really low strength, really low interior defense. The block isn't amazing, and same with the rebounding. It's not out of this world, right? So obviously I'm going to struggle to defend post scores. The plan is, if I ever play twos, that I'll play with a bigger teammate like a rim sharp or something like that, who's around 6'10", something like that. He can shoot, and then I'm going to flat out line up at the one. I'm going to be a great defensive build to be guarding anybody who wants to run ISO or pick and roll, fight through screens, and then really I'm just going to kind of go with the flow with the dunking. If they ever switch the big onto me, however, like last year, I'll probably struggle, but for the most teams who have the low IQ and they don't know to switch, I'll be able to obviously dominate point guards and stuff like that with this build when it comes to driving. And the ball handling is actually not too bad. I'm going to have 99 speed with this at 99 overall too. So it's definitely going to be able to speed boost unless we don't know how that works as far as like the ball handling needed for that. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. There's a lot of question marks and just unknown things currently. And I just want y'all to understand, I'm going to coach you guys through what the meta might likely be, and the more information that I learn, I'm going to be telling you guys a whole lot more as well. But I just kind of wanted to explain this to you as all types of different directions the meta could go as far as which build will dominate. But I can promise y'all one thing for sure. If the undersized big is the meta as far as like what people like to run for the pick and roll, I can promise you the post scores are going to rule the 2v2. It's just as simple as that. I mean, they're going to dominate builds like this, and that's just obvious. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties. Good stuff. Let's try this video 1,000 likes in the first 24 hours. If you made it to the end of the video, put big man in the comments, show your support to made it all the way through. And on that, hope y'all enjoyed. Take it easy, man. Peace.